Alright, well, my older kids are already back in from riding their horse, and my younger kids are playing outside, so while I have a chance, I'm going to put two jokes on here that I can't hardly tell around my younger kids. First one goes like this. It's about the seven dwarfs. They took a world vacation. They're driving around the globe. One day they happened to be in Rome. They're sitting in their motel room trying to figure out what they were going to do, and one of them came up with the idea, well, we're in Rome, why don't we go check out the Vatican, see if we can meet the Pope. So they went right over there, and they went up to the front door, and the first person they seen, they told them, well, we're celebrities from America, we're the seven dwarfs, is the Pope around? And so the guy checked them out, and he said, well, you guys wait over here, I'll go see if he's available. And he left, and it's gone for a little while, and they just kind of wandered around, whatever, and then after a little while, that guy came back looking for him and said, okay, the Pope can see you now, you boys come in, wait in this room here. So they followed him, and they waited. A short while later, the Pope came in, and so he walked in, said hello, everybody shook hands, and then Dopey stepped forward from the other dwarfs, and he said, Pope, I have a question for you. Do you have any dwarf nuns here in the Vatican? And the Pope was a little surprised, and he said, well, no, Dopey, I'm sorry, we don't have any dwarf nuns working in the Vatican. And the other dwarf started to giggle a little bit, and then Dopey said, well, Pope, do you have any dwarf nuns working any place else here in Europe? And the Pope looked at him, and he said, boy, of all the questions that I get asked, this has got to be one of the strangest. And then he shook his head, and he said, no, Dopey, I'm sorry, but we don't have any dwarf nuns employed anywhere in Europe. So then the other dwarfs behind him started giggling and laughing a little bit louder. Dopey turned around and shot him a real hard look. They kind of bit on their tongues and put their heads down, trying to be quiet. And Dopey started getting really desperate. He looked up at the Pope, and he said, well, Pope, do you have any dwarf nuns anywhere in the world? Pope kind of studied Dopey for a little bit, and he said, well, Dopey, there are no dwarf nuns. And then the other dwarfs couldn't help themselves. They just started laughing, tears streaming down their faces. They're rolling around on the floor, holding onto their sides, and laughed for a while, and Dopey's face was getting redder by the minute, and then finally they stopped laughing long enough to look up and point to Dopey and said, Dopey, fuck the penguin, Dopey, fuck the penguin. Well, hopefully you didn't have no little kids listen to that. I don't usually cuss that much. Well, didn't used to cuss at all until I've been married for a few years, then it just sort of came about somehow. Now the second joke I'm going to tell, this is the, to me, I think this is probably about the funniest joke that I ever had, or ever heard. So this next one here goes like this. One day there was no crime, nothing bad happening anywhere in the world. Superman didn't know what to do, flew around the globe and back a couple of times, couldn't find nobody who needed help. So he's sitting up on top of a mountain wondering what the heck he's going to do with himself. Then he got an idea. He flew over to the Bat Cave. And he went inside. He said, hey Batman, hey Robin, there's no crime, nothing bad going on, let's hang out. And the Robin said, well gee, we'd like to, Superman, but we got all kind of things to do today. We got to sweep out the Bat Cave, we got to change the oil on the Batmobile, and so then he sat there for a little bit, tried to figure out what he's going to do. I had to shoo a kid away, and so anyways, then he figured, well, I'll go over to Aquaman's place. So then he flew to Aquaman's, flew overhead and looked down and seen Aquaman down by his pool, so he landed beside him. Hey Aquaman, he said, there's nothing going on today. Why don't we go do something? And Aquaman said, well gee, I'd love to, Superman, but I was getting ready to clean the pool out. I gotta feed the fish. I got a lot of stuff I need to catch up on today. So Superman sat on the edge of the pool trying to figure out what the heck he was going to do, and then he got a great idea. I'll go see Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's always up for a good time. So a super speed, he flew over to Wonder Woman's place, landed on her front porch, and they thought, well, I wonder what she's doing. So he used his x-ray vision, looked right through her front door all the way through her house back into her bedroom, and he saw Wonder Woman laying on her bed, stark naked, spread eagle on her back, just bucking and hopping around on her bed. And he's sitting there watching her for a while, wondering what in the hell is she doing. And he's watching Wonder Woman naked, jumping around on her bed like that, and then he started getting a super boner. And then real quick he got a super idea, and he said to himself, you know, with my super speed I could fly through her house, into her bedroom, get my thing done and get out. She'd never even know it was me, never even know I was there. He said, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But he was super horny, and boy, Superman flew through her house, popped his load, turned around and zoomed out, and he was gone. All of a sudden, Wonder Woman's head popped up from her pillow, and she said, looked around, what the heck was that? And then the Invisible Man stood up and he said, I don't know, but my asshole sure hurts all of a sudden. Well, I put those two in there to make up for the two really pitiful attempts at humor that I did before that. Now I guess I better try and get something done today.